This is your hometown news leader, WDBJ-7.
Right now on WDBJ-7, we ask tough questions of Army officials after two potentially serious incidents at the Radford Arsenal.
How are you feeling today?
I don't feel too good, bud. I had something taken away from me that I cared a lot about.
Days after his arrest, Buchanan's volunteer fire chief steps down.
And you think you've had enough of political ads? There is more on the way. We've got the numbers to prove it.
Plus, pick one day and in your grocery store the next. How one grocery chain is making moves to go local. This is your hometown news leader. I'm Chris Hurst.
And I'm Holly Davis. It has been 12 days since two serious incidents took place at the Radford Army ammunition plant.
The Radford Arsenal is one of 14 military production, ammunition, and storage centers across the country, and it sits on nearly 7,000 acres producing highly explosive military munitions. New
River Valley reporter Orlando Salinas spoke with Army Joint Munitions Command, which is responsible for all of the information coming out of the arsenal.
7:30 p.m. July 1. The Army says 16,000 gallons of nitric acid is heating up and out of control. I asked Army Public Affairs Officer Steve Abney a series of questions. 7 uncomfortable seconds go by before he answers.
Would you say that the first heating of the nitric acid tank was a serious incident?
It could have been.
No, I'm asking could it have been. I'm asking was it?
There was a potential for it to be serious. There was no spill. So it wasn't a serious incident in that sense.
30 minutes after the first incident, the fire chief at the arsenal called Montgomery County Emergency Services. Said he couldn't cool down the tanks and needed help. Montgomery County officials turned down our request for an on-camera interview. A second incident involved another 16,000-gallon tank the same night. This time it was sulfuric acid. The Army says that tank too, quote, remained at an extremely high temperature, end quote. Here's where it gets tricky. The Army says unless there's an actual spill, by law, it is not required to notify any agency, not even local fire departments or rescue squads from nearby towns, as long as the incident is handled successfully. But I had to ask, what's the threshold? When does the arsenal officially ask for help?
Do you know what that threshold is?
I do not. Obviously, 16,000 gallons is above the threshold, well above the threshold.
I spoke with a chemist who disagrees with the Army's policy and says notifying local first responders immediately is a no-brainer.
I think you do need to alert them so that when you do call them in, they know exactly what they're dealing with and they know exactly what preparations they need to have made to deal with those kinds of materials.
A former employee told me some workers' only job is pushing nitric acid in what they call angel buggies, because all it takes is one wrong move, and that buggy will take you straight to heaven. One more time, the Army policy is to not notify local emergency officials of any incident other than a spill.
Would they have ever been notified, or would they have ever found out that there was an incident involving the overheating of a tank containing nitric acid?
I don't know.
There's no legal requirement for you to report that to anyone?
No.
The Army Joint Munitions Command says things are not back to normal, but remains adamant that neither sulfuric nor nitric acid spilled into the New River, just a half-mile away. In Montgomery County, Orlando Salinas, WDBJ-7.
New at 11, one of Virginia's most notorious killers is going to have to